keep believing. Would you turn to your neighbor and say, keep believing? In other words, no matter what you're going through, you ought to keep believing. So let me begin by telling you that your life will be driven either by faith or fear. That's it. Your life will be driven either by faith or fear. Your pursuits will begin with a little step of faith, or steps of faith, if you will, even when you're uncertain about the results of your efforts. Every pursuit in life will begin by little steps of faith. Just little steps of faith. Don't have to be giant ones. Little steps of faith before you get to the bigger one. Some of you right now are asking God for big things and you haven't even passed the test for little things. But you can't even trust Him for the simplest things. You see, why I was able to trust God for something like this, $7.7 million, it was simply because back in 1985, moving from Brooklyn, New York to South Florida, and my back was against the wall. We had nothing when we moved to South Florida, was in an apartment that was completely empty in Lauderdale Lakes, no furniture, nothing at all, and we found ourselves having no groceries in the pantry or the refrigerator. You're new in town. You're following the will of God. God told us to come to South Florida. We had no idea that later on we would pastor a church. But a little faith then, when I woke up on a Saturday morning, God said to me, go get your groceries. If I couldn't trust Him for a bag of groceries, how am I going to trust Him for $7.7 million? It was on that Saturday morning when I woke up, no money in my pocket. We didn't have any friends here. And I know I heard the voice of God just like you. God is speaking to you right now, and He's telling you, trust me for that thing. I mean, I was scared. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I heard God said to me, go get your groceries. And I said to my wife, we're going to go to the grocery store. She was like, why are we going? We ain't got no money. I said, God told me to go. So we went to the grocery store, Winn-Dixie, and we walked down the aisle and picked up all the things we needed and got to the cashier, third in line. The doors of the Winn-Dixie store opened. A man walked through and he said, is your name Henry Fernandez? Yes, sir. He said, I was home sleeping in my bed and God woke me up and told me to come find Henry Fernandez in the grocery store. He stretched his hands towards me, and there in the palm of his hands was money he placed into my hands. If you cannot trust God for the simple things, you cannot expect Him to do the big things. Are you hearing me? So every pursuit in life that you go after must begin with little steps of faith. It was Dr. King who once said, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase.